There we go. Hello again, everybody. This is Derek, and I am coming back at you with another Wargaming and Miniature video. I've been painting on these Macedonians last night and today, and I was going to paint a few more hours on these today. If I don't finish them today, then I'll finish them tonight. But since I was sitting here painting, I thought, why don't I turn the camera on? So we're doing one of our Wargaming weeklies, right? What I do at the Wargaming weeklies is basically we just sit down, shoot the shit, paint. I paint. Mostly I just paint, and I just say whatever comes to my head, which I don't really have a lot to talk about today. Yeah, so unfortunately, I'm going to say expect a lot of dead air, but you probably should never expect dead air from me because I can't help myself. I just talk and talk and talk. I talk to the point where it might become annoying. But if you like my channel, if you've watched some of my other videos and you enjoy it, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, but more importantly, spread the word. Tell your friends. You know, if you like it, then your friends might like it as well. So let them come by and check it out, see if they do or not. Maybe they can learn something, or maybe I can learn something from them. You know, whatever. Okay. I am painting not only companion cavalry for Macedonians, Alexander's Macedonians. I'm also painting the elite companion cavalry, which are the Agemas. Agema. They are the veterans, the guys that have been with Alexander for throughout all of his campaigns, etc. And also, if you want to chit chat with me, go ahead and drop it in chat. I will look up from time to time, not regularly, just randomly. I'll look up and see if there's a chat, and if there is, we'll start a conversation. We'll chat, or I'll respond to whatever comments you might have. I will tell you what's going on in my gaming bubble, or my miniature painting bubble, or my store bubble, or whichever bubble you want to pop. There's a couple of things that I'd like to talk about, but none of them, and I stress this, none of them are important. They're just things I was thinking, hey, I can use this to fill the time. Not that it's super important. So I don't know if you're watching me paint, and I've got this thing on my fingertip. Um, what's funny is I expected it to really mess up my painting, but it hasn't. It hasn't even made an impact at all. It has made an impact on me using my computer, because when I'm pressing on the mouse, I don't get the same kind of touch that I would get, and so I wonder if I've pressed the button or not. And sometimes I press the button when I didn't realize I pressed it, because this is a bronze thimble. To prevent forest fires. No, to prevent punctures on my fingertip. But that's not why I got it. You know, you say, Mr. Everything, why are you wearing a thimble? Well, these frickin' spears, that's why. And I'll explain. If you watch any of my updates or my Wargaming weeklies or my my store updates or whatever, I might have already said this. I think I have said it maybe once. But what's been going on over the last couple of weeks is me putting together foot companions with pikes, and then me putting together horse companions with their Xiphos, right? The Zystons or Xiphos or whatever it's called. We'll call it a lance. With their lance. And I use wire, or I don't know, am I yelling? I use wire for all of those. And when I did the foot companions, I poked my... Actually, the reason why I'm wearing this is not the spears, now that I think about it. But it all happened about the same time. I poked myself with one of the spears, and it dug into my skin very deep before I even realized it. It was like painless, but it had punctured all the way in, maybe 10 millimeters or something like that. It when I pulled it out, it started to not hurt, just sting, like and then blood started pouring out, so a little bit of pressure, a little bit of TLC, and it stopped, Luckily, I'm not a hemophiliac. So so I did that once, and I'm like, okay, this hurt. I guess that was when I was doing the foot companions. And then when I was doing the horse companions, I had already primed them this dark brown, and then it was fairly dark in my studio because I didn't have my light on that I light the table with. So that light wasn't on. So I reached down to grab the companion cavalry, and lo and behold, one of these pikes went right up into my middle finger. And I was like, what the hell? So it happened twice. So I thought, going forward, while I'm working with these units with the pikes, I should wear a thimble. But it's not important enough for me to bother getting a thimble. right? I'm like, I'm not getting a thimble. I ain't a pussy. I'm gonna man up and take it and just move on, right? Because I ain't no pussy. Okay. And then I had a fairly sizable eBay order go out. Um, yeah, pretty sizable. And I had to wrap up these miniatures in bubble wrap because that's what I do. And using this hand to wrap up the bubble wrap, it caused a little bit of a friction burn or a friction blister on my forefinger. And little TLC, it turned into a real blister, bubbled up and all that. I wasn't expecting that, but it did. It bubbled up and then hardened up. It hardened up pretty hard. And I have been putting band-aids on it mainly to keep it from popping or whatever, not to, just to prevent it from bursting. And every couple of days, change out the band-aids or whatever. But in the meantime, the band-aids would get real loose and they would fall off, or they like one half of the band-aid would come loose and then it would get stuck on something like a book or my clothing when I'm trying to change my pants or whatever. And so I got tired of that. So I thought about ordering like a finger cover, like put the band-aid on and then cover it with a rubberized finger cover, like one that you would use for sorting mail or counting money, or you know the kind of finger cover I'm talking about. And so I went looking for these finger covers and I found them. But at the same time, I found these bronze thimbles and they're adjustable. And I said, you know what? Let's try one of those. Because I can slide it onto the band-aid and then it'll just hold the band-aid in place. So that's why I'm wearing this thimble. It represents a holder for my band-aid. That's all it is. Okay, let's talk about these figures I'm painting. If you've been around, there was a video where I discussed what the units are and the figures and all of that. And then I said I was going to do a little bit more research to find uniforms and color schemes and stuff like that. So I had a plan to do 4 bases of companion. Well, my ultimate goal was 6 bases of everything when it comes to cavalry for the Macedonians. Because I'm trying to do maximal units. I'm trying to maximize potentiality. So if I'm allowed to have 12 bases of this or 6 bases of that, even though it's not in my army, I'm still going to do that because I might play a game and I decide, okay, I want to play with, like, let's say I've only got 4 bases of companion cavalry and I say to myself in my army list, you know what, I want to play with 6 bases. Well, I don't have that option because I don't have those figures painted, right? But if I have 6 bases painted and I say to myself, well, I just want to play with 4 bases. Well, guess what? I can do that because all I got to do is just pull 2 bases out of the unit and bam, they're 4 bases. So it's better to maximize what you can do even if that's not what's in your army. It just, by the way, I'm doing all the... What? I painted the middle one? Oh, damn. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Because, well, the middle one can still be painted this way, but he'll be odd man out in the unit. I'm going to repaint them. So I was getting to that point where I had based on these popsicle sticks according to their uniform style and weapon combinations and stuff like that. And then I was going to go back in and reform them into units. And I've decided to kind of intermix my companions with a few of the Thessalian heavy cav figures, because there are records where the companions did equip themselves like the Thessalians. Not 100%, but there are examples. And so it would be okay to put some Thessalians intermixed with my other companion cavalry, kind of as filler, as an odds and ends. Whoops, not that guy. And so now I'm actually able to do 6, or I should say 12 bases of companion cavalry, which is exactly what I was wanting to do. Okay, wait a second. Yep, okay. Yellow? Because these capes are going to be purple. These capes are going to be purple. And I think I meant for those tunics to be yellow. I'm trying to remember, so that's what we're doing. We're doing some yellow tunics here and yellow capes there. And these guys are going to be a little bit different, because these guys are going to be Greek and these guys are going to be Thessalians or Thessalians or whatever you want to call them. But I was kind of noticing that the Greeks, the Thessalians, the companions, the agemas, they pretty much all of them have pretty much exactly the same equipment. They have the Boeotian or the Phoenician helmets. They have either the breastplate or the linothorax. They are all wearing skirts. They have either a long sleeve or a short sleeve tunic, you know, and their weapons that they're using are similar as well. Except for the Greeks. The Greeks, I think, are not carrying lances. But the Thessalians, there's really 2 types of Thessalian units. There's the heavy cav and the light cav. And Meg doesn't differentiate between the two. It gives the Thessalian Cav kind of a middle ground of the heavy and light, and gives them like a devastating charge, but also javelins. So you get the best of all worlds with the Thessalians, but they're not superior. Well, maybe they are superior. I don't even remember. Okay, I must not have sweetened that. Go ahead and put a couple of scoops of the sugar in there. 2 scoops. 1, 2. There we go. Yeah, that's Lipton tea. That's just a straight old Lipton black tea. It's, generally speaking, the best tea. Did I shake that and just open that up? I don't even remember. Yeah, I think I did. Okay, so we're going tunics. Okay, or long sleeves. Short sleeve tunic or long sleeve is going to be yellow. Also, the standard was yellow there, right? Okay. The standard here is going to be purple. It's going to be the same as their capes. I did struggle mentally with deciding which purple I was going to use. So I got a bunch of figures out, and I got all my variants of purple out, and I said, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint a little bit of purple on every figure, then I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to kind of see which one fits in with what I think it mentally is supposed to be, you know, attractively. And so I pulled out my P3 magenta, painted their saddlebag, one of their saddlebags, saddle blankets, and immediately said, "Oh, I don't even have to go any further. That's the right color." And looking at it, yeah, it's the right color. I thought magenta was going to look more red, but no, it looks purple. It doesn't, there's various types of purples, and I just had to find one that was going to be the kind of purple that I wanted. And I found it. Okay. When I go to paint these guys' capes, you'll see the purple I was talking about. The companions and the Thessalians are going to have a lot of the same type of helmets, but the Thessalians, whenever I say Thessalian, for some reason I'm always thinking alien, like a visitor from outer space. So I say Thessalian. Might not be right. That's all right. I'll get over it. So the Thessalians are going to have their bronze helmets, but the companions, I'm going to do the same thing to the companion horse. I'm going to do the same exact thing that I did my companion foot. So it'll basically make it obvious that they're companions. I'm going to paint them. I'm going to give them color. I don't think I'm going to randomize it. I think my Agema Thessalians are going to have blue and yellow. And I think my companions are going to have red and yellow. No, wait. Red and blue? Yeah, I think it's going to be blue. No, wait. What did I say? Blue and yellow. It's not going to be purple. Maybe it is. Maybe it is going to be purple. I don't know. All right. Yeah, one of these guys right here was supposed to go into that unit. That's the one that I said, oh no, I painted the wrong figure. Because that figure is going in this unit. So yeah, I might as well paint this guy's cape yellow as well. Well, they're all going to easily be identifiable by their cape color. It's just going to be in your face. But then there's going to be like a helmet accent. I'm sweating up a storm, guys. I don't know how hot it is outside or what the temperature is that my wife set the thermostat to before she left for work. But I might wind up turning on my fan just to keep me cool. I think I'm going to do that. Bear with me just a second. Three pulls, I think, is the shortest or the slowest speed. I don't want it to just be blasting me, but getting a little bit of circulation might help. Okay, more tunics. More long sleeves. What am I doing? Okay. Okay, now these figures I'm painting, these are all Old Glory. I think there's one figure in here that might be either Forged in Battle or Zeiston. I noticed it was different. I don't remember how or where I got it. Just so you know, I had built a Macedonian army a long time ago, like when I first got into Field of Glory, and that might have been. And then what I did recently was went to my bin of all my extra ancient models, and I pulled them all out because I knew I was starting to get back into ancients. Uh, and maybe that was one of those figures that was left over from a bygone era. It's possible. But it's not Old Glory. It's obviously not Old Glory. Oh, it might be minifig, actually. And I say that because of the way the horse was. The horse base is not like Old Glory horse bases. Old Glory horse bases are solid ovals, you know. They're basically always solid ovals. Sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, but they're always a solid oval. Where the minifig cavalry bases are kind of like an S shape. Almost always, not always, but almost always an S shape. And that figure had an S shape horse. So I bet you it's old. I bet you it's minifig. Okay, speaking of Old Glory, the last I checked, their website is not up. I almost they're asking for help. Their sales are so low that because of the website, because it has an impact on how much people and how often people will order. And it's impacted them financially. So if you're looking to order, contact them, get the PDF order form, and email it to them. And I'm sure they'll get it out to you right away because they don't have a whole lot of backlog of orders. So now might be the time to do it. And I thought about getting some more Greek Cav, but I don't think I need it actually. I think I've got my two companions and then the Thessalians and the Greeks. And I'm sure if I wanted to, I could just take two of the Greek bases and put it with my Thessalians and just say that it's a bigger unit. But right now I've got 4 units, 2 maximum and or 2 Maximus and 2 Magna units. So, which is 6 versus 4. These 2 are 6s and these 2 are 4s. I just uploaded the elephant what's in the box video. It might not be live yet because it has to process. I don't know if any of you guys upload videos to YouTube or not, but it's a multi-stage process. And here, let me kind of share the process with you. The way I do it. Other people might do it differently. But I filmed the video. Um, let's just use this Carthaginian elephant video as an example. I film about an hour and a half of footage, sometimes even longer. But in this case, about an hour and a half. And then I take that video and I put it through a program that I use for editing videos. I use Vegas Pro, just so you know. Okay, so it takes me because I'm watching the hour and a half video and then pausing it in spots that I think are unnecessary, or maybe I misspoke, or so I'll delete that section of the video, or I'll get to a point in the video. In this case, I was talking about editing or snipping the African elephant ears and making them Indian elephant ears. And I know the politically correct term is Asian elephant, but as you probably know, I'm not a very politically correct individual, and I don't give a shit. It's Indian. So get over it. Right? Okay. If that bothers you, then this is not the right channel for you. So, but I make a comment about how the ears are different, and how if I wanted to, I could take this African elephant, snip the ears a little bit, and I could turn it into a Indian elephant. Now, I understand that Indian elephants are a little bit shorter than African elephants, and I also understand the tip of the trunks are different, and the skin is more wrinkly or less wrinkly. You know, I get the differences. But on a 15 millimeter miniature, the only thing that's really going to stand out is the size of the ears. So, and because I do need Carthaginian elephants for when I do my Carthage army, I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm gonna leave them as Carthaginian elephants, but I will eventually need some Indian elephants for my Macedonians. But I'm in no hurry, because it's a certain period of time when those become available to Alexander. You know, it's after he's gone into India. And then I could get Indian archers and Indian elephants, which I have Indian archers already. Not painted, but they're primed. They're ready to go. They're ready to get painted, and it'd probably only take me an hour to paint them, because they're a lot like naked fanatics. They're skin, a tunic, and a bow, and that's it. But back to editing the video. So what I'll do is I'll pause the video, and then I jump online and I find a picture of a real elephant that kind of corresponds to what I'm talking about. Or if I'm doing a World War II video or something, I might pull up a picture of a World War II vehicle or something. So basically during editing, I'll pause the video a number of times, either to edit out junk or to add context. Right. Okay. So that hour and a half video of recording, which I'm talking about the elephants now, after about an hour and a half of recording them and then editing out my, well, if I did it this way, I wouldn't do it that way. And then I would say, that I don't need to say that in the video. Let me just edit that out. So I've done that a bunch of times. And then I'll look for pictures, which, you don't know how long that could take. And then I will add those pictures. Well, that whole process of editing out junk and adding context, and sometimes even typing up like, this is the actual word, like I type howda, right? And I was like, is howda the actual word? I mean, I'm doubting myself, right? I know it is. I'm pretty fluent in ancient armories and weapons and stuff like that. And I say, yeah, it's a howda. So, but I double check. I go online. I say, this, and it says, yeah, it's a howda, and this is how you spell it. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So what I did was in the video, I put how you spell it, and then so that whole process takes probably about 3 hours, right? Because I have to watch through an hour and a half of video, but I also have to pause it and edit out and add stuff, and just in general, it takes about 3 hours. And then, once I get it edited, then I have to click the button, boop, render the video. Because then what it'll do, it'll take all these chunks of video that I edited and moved and slid, and all the graphics I've added and all that, and it'll make it one MP4. That takes about, it's based on what resolution you're going to put it in and how long it is. Well, this video is not that long. This video might be 15 minutes or something like that. Yes, I edited down an hour and a half down to about 15 minutes. I was like, what the hell? And I decide, when it's that small, I almost always decide to do it in 1440. Sometimes I'll put a video in 1440 and I don't care how big it is, just because I want you to have the best resolution that I can provide. Right? Okay. So this video takes about 30 minutes to an hour to render. Now, I have had videos take like 6 hours to render before, but not this elephant one. This elephant one took about 30 minutes to an hour. I don't remember exactly how long. Okay, I'm still not done, right? Because now I've got this MP4 on my computer, and then I have to go to YouTube. and Rumble, because I upload to YouTube and Rumble. But I do that simultaneously. I open up YouTube, I add the video, type in the description, add a bunch of thumbnails, add a bunch of tags, check all the boxes that I've got to check. That whole process takes maybe 5-10 minutes. No big deal. It's pretty quick. And I've got a bunch of templates that I just copy and paste over usually. So that's definitely no big deal. And then once I get it started on YouTube, then I'll open up Rumble and I'll start the whole process again over at Rumble while it's uploading to YouTube. Okay, now this is the part that I meant to get to. Okay, so YouTube and Rumble both send me a message saying, okay, it's uploaded, thank you. You know, and I'm like, okay, thank you. And so then I look at it. I don't do this anymore because I'm already used to it and I already know what's going on with it. But if it was like your first video, you would look at it and you would see that it's in super low quality, like maybe 240. Yeah, super low quality. And then after an hour or so, it'll jump to 360. And then after another 2-3 hours, it'll jump to 480. And then after another hour or two, it'll jump to 720. And then after another hour or two, it'll jump to 1080. Remember, I do it at 1440. So after another hour or two, it jumps to 1440. If the video is super small, like 15 minutes, then that process is a lot faster. Like maybe in 2 hours it'll be 1440 instead of 5 or 6. Okay. If when I upload it, I say go live immediately, and if you follow my channel and you get a notification that says, oh, Derek uploaded a video, go check it out, and you go check it out, you would be watching it at 240. Right? So I don't do that. There's an option on there to say, when do you want it to go live? And I almost always go to the default time because it's easier just to click the button. But the default time is midnight. So if I uploaded it 4 in the afternoon, I'll just say default time, and it'll go live at midnight. So if you notice, a lot of my videos go live at midnight. If you don't notice, well, that's the way it is. A lot of them go live at midnight. Wait, these are the Thessalians. They're not getting the yellow. Yeah, they're not getting the yellow. No yellow for you, bastards. Okay. Moving on to a different color. In this case, it's going to be magenta. Because these guys have magenta tunics. And these guys have the magenta capes. Yeah, I probably could do some of these guys' helmets in magenta. I could do that. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do any helmets. I'm going to do all the helmets kind of at the same time. Even though I'm using the same color and I'm kind of doing a what do you call it? Like a assembly line. Even though I'm doing the assembly line method, I still am focusing on one part. A lot of times I'll focus on the color and then I'll go magenta, magenta, whatever belongs magenta on all the figures, and then I'll put this paint away, and then I'll say, okay, whatever purple needs to be, or whatever red needs to be. Well, I'm not doing it this time. This time I'm saying, okay, let's do capes, and then let's do tunics, and then so I'm doing it by clothing part, which might go a little bit slower because I'm having to change paints out, bottles or whatever. But that's okay. I'll get over it. I hope you guys get over it. And welcome, guys. Welcome to the channel. I know nobody's making any comments, which is perfectly fine. I'm not really here to talk with you guys. I'm here to paint these miniatures. But if you... Man, that's the second time I've done that. If you do chat, I appreciate it, and I will talk with you. Okay, so this is the magenta color, and I don't know if you got a very good lighting on that, but here, let's get real close. No, it is a purple, but it's not... It's not that purple, right? It's obviously a different color of purple, right? It's also not imperial purple, which is more this color, right? So you've got a much different purple. It's not imperial purple. It's also not... I think this is purple. Nope, that's not purple. Got all these. I got all my little big men decal. Oh, there it is. There's the purple that I'm not going to be using. Reach. Okay. It's also not that purple, because this is obviously purple, right? And there's another... This. What do they call this? Rosa purple rose, or whatever. That is a beautiful color, and I did paint some of my foot companions with this. This is a really great color, but I want this color. Now, I might paint some highlights or some other details with this color, but this color and this color are fairly close. I mean, they're not exact, but that's the color we're going with on these tunics of the Agemas. The Agema tunics, which is under their armor. So what I did was I painted their armor and tunics with a dry brush so that the tassels or tassets or whatever they call that armored skirt, it can stay white. And I might come in later with some details, or some highlights or something. Now I am concerned that this might be just a little dark for when I do my wash. I have a feeling the wash is going to really darken this color up. But I'm actually okay with it. We'll have to see what it turns out after the wash. It'll wind up being like a really dark purple. Now this is not hard, but it is monotonous. And I say that because the tunic under the armor exposed is only like a half a millimeter. You got to be careful. So I got to take my time. Got to focus, got to breathe. Okay, those guys are good. Those guys are good. Yes, they're good. Okay, so what have we talked about? We talked about why am I wearing a thimble? Okay, we already talked about that. Talked about the Old Glory website is still under construction, which just blows my mind. And there are people on Facebook, and I'll tell you right now, I never go to Facebook. I know never is a strong term, but I pretty much rarely ever go to Facebook. But Old Glory's got a Facebook page where they let everyone know where they're at in regards to their website. So I go there for news, and really only for Old Glory. I used to go there for a game called 148 Tactic. Because that's where you can get all your questions answered or whatever. But I pretty much got disenchanted with 148 Tactic after about 3 games. I don't know if you guys ever played 148 Tactic. It's a Boweta game. It this is the second attempt at Boweta to launch their game. It has a lot of cool, interesting there's a lot of cool and interesting mechanics in the game. But what makes it cool and interesting makes it boring. We can go into it if you want to know, but imagine playing a game. Okay. Imagine playing Warhammer where every character Let me rephrase that. Where every miniature you have on the table is a special character. Oh, wait. That's the way Warhammer is nowadays. But I don't play Warhammer anymore. Mainly because of that. They got away from the mass units and went to one model costing the consumer the same as a mass unit. Yeah, so you buy one model, he's a special character, and you go into battle. And 148 tactic is you can buy a starter set which comes with 5 guys. Every one of them is a named character with special abilities. And you play the game like that. And I have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with one guy being your sergeant and maybe he's got a better accuracy, or actually I don't have a problem with everybody having a different accuracy. But when you start giving them all special abilities, like this one guy can throw a grenade twice as far as everyone else on the table, or this guy can take twice the hits as everybody, or this guy gets to act twice when everybody else is only acting once. And you got to keep track of all that, right? And then when they get wounded, oh, by the way, you have a card for every man. So basically you have a like a character sheet, which makes it easy to keep track of. I mean, it's very easy to keep track of. When he gets wounded, you turn the card over and it shows you like a wounded stats on the backside. Yeah, that whole thing was, oh, that's pretty cool. But I don't like games like that. I don't like games that make everybody unique. There's no soldiers, they're all superheroes. Nothing on their cards are far fetched. You know, like this guy can throw a grenade really far, or this guy's got a really accurate shooting ability, or this guy can move twice as far as everyone else. But at a certain point, I don't mind having one or maybe two special characters and then a bunch of regular guys. But when everyone is special, it's a very woke game. Everyone is special. Speaking of Boetta, I have some campsite stuff coming in from Boetta. Um, I ordered some like campfires and tents, stuff like that. But I think I ordered some like I was thinking of ordering like thatched huts and stuff like that, but I decided against that. I don't need that. I just need a campsite, roast pig, and a tent. Now, their Boeotian helmets that they're wearing that have the plume on them, those are all going to be bronze. The only helmets that I'm going to be painting on any of these guys is the Phoenician helmets, which are the ones with the wave crest on the top. Okay, those guys, their sleeves look good. Now let me get their little tunic pieces that are hanging below their skirt. Immediately after I do these cavalry, I think I told everybody, maybe on my one of my more recent videos, that I'm gonna have to put these off to the side and put a pause on my Meg armies while I take care of some commission work. I've got like 4 armies that need to be painted. So that'll take me a couple of weeks, maybe a month and a half, something like that. Now I got a German SS, late war British, some Americans, and another army that's being mailed. I know it's World War II, but I don't know exactly what army it is. Okay. Let me jump into this stand because it's got a guy that doesn't belong. Okay. He's okay. But let me try to avoid this middle guy. Are these guys supposed to have yellow? Oh, he's one of those. Okay, never mind. That's why I label the sticks so I don't mess it up. But sometimes I can't help myself. So I was thinking about doing the Marian Roman army next. And I was looking through my Germanic Gauls, and remember I had made those initially to be used with the Hail Caesar campaign book, Age of Caesar or Battles of Caesar or something like that, where Caesar goes into Germanic Gaul and they have a bunch of scenarios. And basically, I tailored that army to be used with that campaign book. And then I decided to not concern myself with that and just build it according to the army list, because the Meg army list is play tested to be balanced and all that, supposedly. I mean, I still can use them in those scenarios. I would just have to kind of conform to the army lists. I think that would be the best way for me to do it. So I was building it towards Magna, and then remember I decided to switch to Maximus. And then when I did that, I realized, oh crap, all my units went from 6 bases to 9 bases. So, but luckily I had 10 units. I know that's a lot, but I had 10 units of 6 bases. Or, if you want to say it this way, 60 bases. So now trying to put it into 9 base units, it would only be about 6, right? I'm trying to do my math in my head, but it would wind up only being about 6 units. Um, they are allowed to be 8 base units. Now with 8, I could do quite a bit of units. I have 60 bases, and if I do 8, what is that, 12? No, that's 80. Hold on. 8, 7. It'd be like 7 bases. 7 units, I mean. So it makes a big jump from 5 to 7. And then the armored Gauls, which I basically use the armored Gauls for the noble unit because they have a noble warrior unit. And you're allowed to have 2 of those. Well, I had built 2 of them with 4 bases. But in Maximus, there are 6 bases. So I have 8 and I need 12. So I need another 4 bases of noble warriors. And cav, I don't think I have enough cav. Basically, I just have to take that army and expand it. And it might be easy to do that because I'm only doing a few bases here and there. Kind of like this cav. I'm not doing a huge amount of Gaelic warriors. I'm just using like maybe another 12 bases or something. So I don't know. I might just leave the Germans the way they are and work on the Marian Romans. Yeah, this magenta is like the perfect color. So I also heard that NashCon this year is already over with. Um, it's usually this weekend or this, yeah, it's usually this weekend, but I think they held it last weekend. But that's okay because I wasn't really paying attention. Uh, I wasn't planning on packing up my armies and going down there and running a game. Um, it's about an hour drive from here. Maybe next year. I was thinking about taking my Napoleonic rules that I'm currently writing and sharing them and seeing what people thought about them. Oh, I've already done the skirts. Okay. All right, now these guys are going to have purple capes. I need to shake this up. All right, we started at 10. Normally I only stream for a couple of hours. Unless, of course, we're having a conversation or something like that, then I might go a little bit longer. But around 12, it'll be lunchtime, and I'm already starting to get a little hungry. It's 11:30, so yeah, we're almost there. Okay, what other things have been going on? Okay, I got a stack of Wargames Atlantic boxes over there that I want to do what's in the boxes. Resistance and Partisans, German Sentries, Imperial Romans. What are those guys? Irish Warriors, maybe? Okay, Blood Oath. Irish Warriors. And then British SAS. So I have not opened those boxes. I have not looked in them. I don't know what to. Well, I know what to expect. Good quality stuff, usually from Wargames Atlantic. But I don't know exactly like composition what to expect. Um, I'm toying with this idea as well. When I start painting those German SS figures, which I'm getting ready to paint immediately after these um, Cavalry, um, I also have some 28, that's 15 millimeter, by the way. I also have some 28 millimeter offensive miniatures SS that I don't have for sale on the store because I was planning on painting them and selling them as painted on the store. And if I'm already going to be painting some SS in 15s, I thought I could maybe knock out these SS and 28s at the same time. But there's already a whole army in 15s. And it's going to be a lot of figures. You know, like 200 figures. I don't think I want to put myself into that kind of stress. I'm just going to focus on this guy's army. So I can move on to the next guy's army. Now, not meaning to call anybody out, but remember I got that package in and I said that, you know, if it was the miniatures that the guy said he was going to return, if it was those, then I would go ahead and issue a refund. Well, it was, and I went ahead and did the refund already. Everything's taken care of, but if you're ever shopping online, this is just a general rule of thumb for all customers, all buyers, you know, buyer beware and all that. If you're ever shopping online, don't assume that you're getting a thing, right? Read the description. Like, as an example, I go to eBay myself sometimes I shop around for good deals, just like everyone. And I saw this box of miniatures. It was like a Perry miniature. I'm making this up because I can't remember exact, but it was like a Perry miniature 8th Army or something like that, right? And the description said Perry miniatures 8th Army. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I looked on the picture, and it was the Perry miniature box art. It was actually a picture of the box of the Perry miniatures, uh, that you would normally order off the website. But they were offering it for like $5. And I was like, oh man, what a steal. This is eBay. I'm getting a deal. So I click on it, and then I look at the description, and it says you are bidding on one sprue from the 8th Army box set. I'm like, what? Okay, it might be worth $5 in that case. That's probably high. Because I think you get like 10 sprues for like $30. Something like that. So you should be paying like $3 a sprue. And that's probably, what he did. He probably paid $30, got a box set, opened it up, and said, I'm going to sell you each sprue for $5. You know, which perfectly fine. That's legit. But if I didn't read the description, if I just assumed it was a box set for $5, I would have got that sprue in, and I would have said, what gives? So I'm just glad that I read the description. Okay. Let's take that over to my eBay site. I'm selling an Old Glory Prussian artillery unit, bag, Old Glory bag of artillery. I think it comes with like 6 guns and the crew and all that. And I'm selling it for like $11, $20, 11. I don't remember exactly how much I'm selling it for. I think it was $20. Because on their website, I think it was $22. And so I was selling it for 20. And trying to express some details, some gratitude. But my picture was pulled directly from the Old Glory website. It's the picture they use to show you what you're buying and what they look like. But the picture is of assembled and painted artillery guns with crew. And so this guy bought it. I bagged up the bag, shipped it off to him, and as soon as he got it, it was like, oh, I thought I was paying $20 for 6 painted guns. I'm sending them back. Okay. No problem. But internally, I wanted to say to him, but I don't want to piss anybody off like this, or I don't know how well received it would have been for me to call him what I wanted to call him or what I wanted to say to him. But I told him, I said, everybody makes a mistake. It's okay, you know. But if you look right, what I wanted to say was, but if you look right here, it says new in the bag. Unpainted, unassembled, new in the bag. So my point is, if you're ever on eBay and you're looking to buy something, read the description. It helped me, saved me from bidding, because I think this was an auction to bid on these sprues, and he started it at like $5. Now I don't mind. I've done it myself. I even have some sprues online, um, but they're listed as sprue. It doesn't say just British infantry. It says British infantry sprue in the title. Because I think I've got some British and French infantry as well as some chasseurs. You got to have chasseurs. Um, and the whole reason why I'm selling those at all is because I was planning on doing all of Quatre Bras and then eventually all of Waterloo for black powder in 28 millimeter. And I had gotten all of Quatre Bras finished. It was ready to go. And I bought these sprues in bulk for my personal use. And when I realized that I was converting everything over to 15 millimeter, I was like, oh, I don't need these. I could just put these on the store. But because they came in a starter set, I decided it might be better just to sell them as an individual sprue. Mainly because if you've got a unit and it's just missing one stand, and you just need enough figures to do one stand, you don't want to go out and buy a whole regiment. You could just buy a sprue. Knowing how I am when I buy miniatures, I translated that into helping people. Believe it or not, I sold a ton of them. I think I have them all listed as British, but when I went to go like box some of them up, when they sold, I realized that some of them are Hanoverians. Um, I gotta make sure that I've got them listed properly, because there might be some Hanoverians and some British. Plus, I've got a ton, and I mean literally a ton of British command bases, command stands, command packs, I guess if you would want to call them, from front rank. Because remember, I was planning on doing all the regiments for Waterloo, so I have like 10 regiments worth of command bags. I don't think I've ever sold them. I think I'm holding on to them in case I want to ever put together a British unit. Then I'll have the command elements. And front rank has moved on. They're now gripping beast is now front rank. I used to have an account with front rank, purchased them wholesale, but then when I went to gripping beast, they were not offering a wholesale account. So basically I lost my discount, basically. And that was one reason why I didn't want to sell them, because I wouldn't be making a profit. I wouldn't be able to replenish them. Sorry, I'm concentrating. Try not to make too many mistakes. I don't know if you guys are into NFL football. I am into a couple of teams, not a whole bunch of teams, but since I live here in Tennessee, the Titans have basically become my default team that I support and follow. But the Miami Dolphins have always been my traveler. They've always been my number one team. But for ridiculous reasons. Yes, I used to live in Miami a long time ago. We lived in Coral Springs. I don't know if you know where that is. I don't. I just remember the name. And my dad was in the Coast Guard. We lived in Coral Springs. The Miami Dolphins were his team. And somehow he had gotten a locker room pass. I don't know how he did it, but he and I were able to go into the locker room and meet the players. Now, how old was I? I was 9 years old. Something like this. 10, 9, 8. Let me think about this. Close to 9 years old. Yeah. And I didn't know I didn't know who I was talking to or any of that. I wish, we had digital cameras at the time. We didn't. I wish we had cell phones or digital cameras for me to capture this experience. We didn't. Because the year was 1972. Do you know what happened in 1972 to the Miami Dolphins? I do, because I lived through it. I was young, I was a baby. I mean, 9 years old. That to me, that's a baby. Um, I was excited about football, and I played little league football and baseball. Um, so yeah, I get that, and I was pretty good at it too. But that wasn't my passion. Um, in 1972, I met Bob Greasy, Larry Zonka, Warfield, Kick, Bontaconte, I think there was one more. Zonka, Kick, Bonacani, Greasy, Warfield. I think that's it. Just those guys. But still, undefeated. The only team to ever go a whole season and the postseason and the Super Bowl undefeated. So they've always had the Dolphins have always had like a soft spot in my heart because I remember my dad bringing us into the locker room and all that. And he's no longer with us. I have a Dolphins jersey in in my closet, uh, with my name on it. But the reason why I even bring it up tonight, the Titans are playing the Patriots. I know it's preseason, but lately, this last couple of years, due to the COVID and all that, I've been kind of really paying attention to the football more than. I mean, I've always paid attention to football, but not like I have in the last couple of years. In the last couple of years, you know, I know all kinds of stuff that I would never have known before. And so I'm kind of excited because some of the things that might be happening tonight. It's the last game of the preseason too, so okay. Just glancing at the units, you can see these guys look different than those guys. These jabronis look different than those jabronis. I'm going to do red on these guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to do red on these guys, and I'm going to do blue on these guys when it comes to their capes. I don't know about their tunics, though. Oh, wait, I think I've already done the... Okay, I've already done the tunics on these guys. I've not done the tunics on these guys. But I was thinking I was going to do red as well. It's going to be red, 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 red. But it might not be. I'm not sure what I want to do with that. Oh, and this standard this guy's carrying is supposed to be magenta. It's all good. All right, guys. Well, this is what we're going to call it. Okay, guys? I appreciate everybody coming out and watching and checking me out and seeing what's going on. But I'm starting to get a little hungry. So, yeah, so I'm going to go grab me something to eat. And I might, if I got a little extra time, do some of these, record some of these. I'm probably not going to do that tonight. I was thinking I was going to, well, maybe tonight I'll do those. No, I won't. After I eat, I'm going to go back to painting. I already know. All right, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.